afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lisa Franks, and I am faculty member here at Eleanor Mann School of Nursing. I have the honor of welcoming you to this afternoon's convocation. Please use this moment to power off cell phones or ensure they are on silent mode. Thank you very much for being here and celebrating in this special occasion for our graduates.
Hi, my name is Susan Patton, and it's my honor and privilege to lead the University of Arkansas Eleanor Mann School of Nursing and to welcome you to our first outdoor pinning ceremony. This ceremony celebrates the transition in academic achievement of the class of 2021. Throughout the history of nursing, there are many rites of passage ceremonies that are bestowed on nurses and nursing students to help them understand the cultural context of the profession. In this rite of passage, the graduates will be pinned. The symbolism of nursing pins can be traced back to customs in the 16th century when the Nightingale School of Nursing at St. Thomas Hospital in London designed and awarded a badge with a Maltese cross to the nurses as they completed their educational program. Eventually, each School of Nursing designed and awarded a customized pin. Significant symbols reside in the center of our pin. The BSN represents the Bachelor of Science in Nursing degree you have earned. At the bottom is the beloved Razorback, a symbol of courage, embodying the strength and pride of the University of Arkansas. The circle of cardinal red represents mercy, the relief of suffering, and the lifelong relationship you will have with your alma mater. What an unusual time this past year has been, with people's lives at risk and many lost, the majority of us confined to our homes for a year, or out of necessity, precariously continuing to go to work. Graduates, I know you feel as if much of what was important to you was taken away. Indeed, there is much to mourn, but also much to be grateful for. I am grateful that all of you made the effort to come here today to celebrate the accomplishments of these nurses. And I'm grateful that it's not pouring down rain, and I'm still praying that it holds off for a little while longer. Today, more than ever, the world is grateful to you graduates for pursuing your education and contributing to their health. They know that you did not earn this nursing degree with a lot of personal sacrifice. Your effort, your time, your money, somebody's money, right? In addition to the sacrifices you have made, I would like to acknowledge that without the sacrifices made by your parents, spouses, siblings, children, and friends, we would not be here. So I'd like to take a moment to give them all a hand. And we are also grateful for the faculty members of the Eleanor Mann School of Nursing. Your faculty had the skills and the energy to make the switch from face-to-face teaching to online delivery in a nanosecond, enabling you to continue your learning and to graduate on time. Thank you, faculty, for your commitment and dedication to the Eleanor Mann School of Nursing, the profession, and most importantly, the education of the next generation of nurse leaders for the state of Arkansas and beyond. And now I would like to introduce our first student speaker. It is my pleasure to introduce Mackenzie Cannon. Mackenzie is a graduate of the Honors College and is a member of the Sigma Theta Tau International Honor Society, and she was chosen to represent the students of the class of 2021.
Hello, my name is Mackenzie Cannon, and I am honored to be speaking today on an occasion that marks the momentous strides that we have made as students and soon-to-be new nurses. I would like to congratulate our cohort on receiving our pins, earning our BSNs, and moving on to our nursing careers over the upcoming weeks. 2 years ago, like many other new nursing students, we were overcome with equal parts excitement and nervousness as we received our acceptance letters to Eleanor Mann and realized that everything we had been working towards was on the horizon. Then similar to other nurses that have walked along this path, we have leaned into our excitement and nervousness, overcome our fears, honed our skills, learned about ourselves, and developed unique passions and approaches to nursing. However, something that I believe has been different about our experience in nursing school, and something that I have noted and admired about this group since our first day of class together, is the unity that we have. Like any other student entering an academically rigorous environment, I feared that the nature of our cohort and our experience in nursing school would involve competition and comparison. Instead, what I so quickly saw was that this group immediately supported one another and hoped for each other's success. Whether it was simply reminding each other about upcoming assignments, or giving each other rides to clinicals, or tutoring each other on difficult concepts we couldn't grasp, we've remained a steadfast support system for one another. And the support I've seen has not been limited to our academics, but has gone beyond our co-experiences as nurses, and has taken us from being peers to friends to family. We have struggled as a family, we have cried as a family, we have gone through growing pains as a family, and now today and tomorrow we get to celebrate as a family. I don't think I've met a group of people that better celebrates one another's accomplishments than the one sitting here today, and I am so thrilled to see how the world changes when our group, a group of nurses who knows how to encourage, love, and back one another, enters the field. But before we move on to the future, I would like to take a moment to summarize and reflect on our experience in nursing school with a nursing school pain scale, on a scale of 1 to 10, of course. At a 10 out of 10, was spending 5 consecutive 12-hour days in Moulins Library during our J1 semester studying for our cumulative pharmacology final and drinking more Red Bull and coffee than we would ever recommend to patients ourselves. At a 9 out of 10 was putting in our first Foley catheters, most likely during our older adult rotation. At an 8 out of 10 was the excitement of getting to try and place our first IV on a patient, the fear of missing their vein, and the embarrassment of watching the nurse take over after the vein rolled. At a 7 out of 10 was administering our first vaccines, particularly to a doctor who looked at you, said their biggest fear was needles, and that they were most likely going to pass out on you. At a 6 out of 10 was experiencing each of our first code browns. This one needs no explanation. At a 5 out of 10 was taking our first NCLEX-style nursing exams, wondering why there were so many select all that apply questions, and hoping that the next test would be all multiple choice. It was not. At a 4 out of 10 was learning how to memorize 15 minutes of head-to-toe assessment and asking your peers questions about their bodily functions. At a 3 out of 10 was walking into a patient room for the first time, completely forgetting how to make small talk and wondering if your first patient will remember how awkward and unsure of yourself that you were. At a 2 out of 10 was making our first Bs or being excited about the fact that we made a B or a C after a difficult exam. And finally, at a 1 out of 10 was our final week. It has been so bittersweet to finish nursing school knowing that we're excited to begin a new chapter and form new memories as registered nurses, but sad to see our time as a group come to an end. Finally, I would like to say thank you to the people that have supported us. To our faculty, thank you for showing us what true advocacy looks like. You have encouraged us with the opportunities you have given us, the kind words you have spoken over us, and the confidence you have had in us. I personally have never felt more advocated for and supported than when I was your student. To our families and friends, thank you for allowing us to emotionally unload and decompress with you, for handling our anxiety and stress with grace, and for always believing that we could do more than we thought we could. And to our cohort, again, thank you for standing alongside each other hand in hand in unity as we work towards our futures. I'm forever grateful to have shared this experience with you all, and I have no doubt that each of you will change the world through nursing. Thank you.
Next, I'd like to introduce the speaker who won the Clinical Excellence Award. Every semester, the faculty nominate and select one student to receive the Clinical Excellence Award, recognizing outstanding efforts and achievement, but also honoring those who provide an inspiration for all of us in our service to patients. So I'd like to invite Nadine Araya to the podium.
As the great man Nelson Mandela said, education is a weapon to change the world. I have seen the truth of this statement in the environment I grew up in. Where I come from, education is a luxury, let alone good education. I am originally from a small landlocked country in the central east of Africa called Rwanda. I have been fortunate enough to be among the few lucky women who have had the privilege of receiving a good education, which has opened so many doors for me, including being able to attend the Ellen Romance School of Nursing. I see myself as an investment that other people have made in me, and I always strive to pay it forward. Being part of the Eleanor Mann School of Nursing has been a life-changing experience. When I look back at the past year and a half of clinical experience, I cannot help but be proud of how much I have grown to be a better future healthcare provider, but also a better citizen of the world. I have learned how to care, how to serve, and help those in need, which has given me a new definition and purpose in life. I remember the first time I inserted a Foley catheter into a patient in our older adult clinical rotation. That day, I went home and spent 45 minutes on the phone call with my mom, telling her all about it, and of course, respecting HIPAA rules and regulations. I told her how nervous I was. I told her how I had practiced the night before like 20 times. And on the other side of the phone, my mother cried and told me how proud she was of me for believing in myself and allowing my passion to become my purpose. I still feel jitters at the thought of my first OB rotation. I will never forget crying tears of joy while holding hands with a mother who had just given birth to the most beautiful little girl after being in labor for 14 hours. After her delivery, she looked into my eyes and told me she would never forget the fact that I held her hands when she needed someone the most. This has taught me that even though it may seem small, the ripple effect of small action can be extraordinary. In addition to that, I've had the privilege to adapt to a different culture and community, which has helped me become more open to multiple perspectives and strive to use other people's experience to improve my own worldview. I have also learned the difficulties of being a Black woman in America and the health implications that might happen if healthcare providers do not revisit their biases and the way these may affect the patient care and safety. I hope this experience will help me create conversations around inclusive patient care. Finally, I would like to thank the Eleanor Mann School of Nursing faculty members for helping me on this journey. I believe the journey would have been impossible without the overwhelming amount of support I have received. I can confidently say that I was born to be a nurse, to hold, to aid, to save, to teach, and to inspire. It is my calling, my passion, my life, and my world. Thank you.
Our final speaker today won the Betty Battenfield Award for Academic Achievement. So Betty Battenfield was the founder of the Eleanor Mann School of Nursing. And I know that she would be proud of the student that won this award and, like us, believe that he exhibits the characteristic of just the kind of nurse she dreamed about when she started this school. So I'd like to welcome to the podium Benjamin Sue.
Hello everyone, my name is Ben Siu, and to be honest, I am the last person who wants to give this speech. A few weeks ago, my friends jokingly said that they were going to nominate me because they knew how much I dislike giving speeches. Fast forward a couple of days from the remark, I received an email saying that I was to give a speech at the pinning ceremony. While freaking out in the Walmart produce section, I immediately FaceTimed them questioning what they had done. I thought it was a joke. But here I am. I am honored and overwhelmed with gratitude to say that I was chosen for the Betty Battenfield Award, and that, for a matter of fact, it wasn't my friends pulling one on me today and nominating me. I was told that I was chosen for the Betty Battenfield Award for my academic achievements in nursing, and I have to say I wouldn't have even had the opportunity to receive this award if it wasn't for my peers, especially my clinical group, amazing nursing faculty, including all my instructors and mentors, as well as my family. Thank you to you all for the unconditional love and support. I'd like to give a shout out to my mom and say, I am so sorry for all the anxiety I caused you with my "I think I failed my test" phone calls. It appears I did a lot better than I've ever expected. I think we all did. I'm going to do my best to keep this short and sweet. just like our lectures. Throughout our years of nursing school at the University of Arkansas, we all have learned many valuable skills and lessons that have prepared us for the future. I'd like to share my top 3 takeaways that I've learned while in nursing school that we as nurses should continue to work on within ourselves and strive to be the best nurses that we can be. The first is time management. I learned early on studying 2 days before a test was not going to cut it. Feeling overwhelmed and stressed by the amount of homework and tests we had every week, I began to dedicate and plan a certain amount of time for each assignment or test. Learning how to prioritize my time helped me in nursing school and will also help me become a more efficient nurse. We must remember that as important as it is to manage our time with our patients and to provide them with the best care possible, that we also must manage time with our friends and families and also take care of ourselves. The second lesson I learned is that there's no such thing as a stupid question. Often, I found myself confused either about an assignment or a due date. Rather than doing nothing about it, I would either ask a classmate or a professor. I found there was no shame for asking questions about material I did not understand. In my clinicals, I was that nursing student who was always asking questions to the nurse. This is something I believe we should all incorporate into our lives, no matter what profession we are, because this is one way we grow and learn. It is important to ask questions and to be curious, especially in nursing, since we have entered a profession that requires lifelong learning. The third lesson I learned pertains to stress management. Nursing is a profession that can easily become stressful and may lead to burnout and compassion fatigue. Luckily, our school did a good job emphasizing the importance of finding positive ways to manage stress. Maybe even a little too good. To this day, I have flashbacks to Deepak Chopra's I Am Mary Jo meditation. These are 3 valuable lessons that I've learned in nursing school. Even though my time at the Eleanor Mann School of Nursing has come to an end, these lessons will stick with me forever. I am grateful for all the amazing faculty, friends, and family who have made this possible for me. I want to end my speech with a quote by Deepak Chopra. Every time you are tempted to react in the same old way, ask if you want to be a prisoner of the past or a pioneer of the future. I can say without a doubt that we, nursing students, are the pioneers of the future. Thank you.
Awards to give. These actually are presented by the Forever Red. And although they cannot be here to present these awards themselves, they wanted to recognize 2 students who have shown unmatched altruism during the pandemic. Their assisting hand amidst a crisis, coupled with promoting the growth of their peers, is worthy of commemoration, which is why we are proud to present our Eleanor Mann Nursing Pin Diploma frames to them. We hope this can enable you to memorialize your time spent here at the University of Arkansas, as we are truly thankful for your contributions to the local community. So they asked me to pick 2 students out of over 100, which was nearly impossible to do, because I will tell you that all of these students have spent the last semester giving vaccines. They've given tens of thousands to vaccines and really helped to stop the spread of COVID-19 that enables us to do things like gather here today safely. So I would like to give all of them something, but there are 2 students that seem to be there every time I went to a vaccine clinic, and they were not only giving vaccines but helping to organize things and also teach their peers. So I would like to give one to Drew Zell, and you can pick them up when you come across the stage, and the other one to Jasmine Yackel. Okay, so now it's quickly as possible, we are going to call these graduates across the stage and honor them one by one. Benjamin Sue. He did want to dedicate his pen to his mom and dad. I just now found it. Allison Acepeter dedicates her pen to her parents. Lindsay Anderson dedicates her pen to her parents. Isabel Arkins dedicates her pen to her parents, Josh and Jennifer Arkins. Casey Bauman. Hannah Bowley. She dedicates her pen to Ray and Jamie, her parents. Savannah Broughton dedicates her pen to Janet Broughton, her grandmother. Sarah Burford. Hannah Butler dedicates her pen to her husband, Britton Butler, for his sacrifice and encouragement. Mackenzie Cannon dedicates her pen to Dr. Misty Smith. Kayla Carter dedicates her pen to my rock, my biggest supporter, my mom, Donna Carter. Jocelyn Clark dedicates her pen to her grandparents. Grace Clements dedicates her pen to her parents, Lori and Tommy Clements. Maggie Klein dedicates her pen to her grandma, Sharon Nero, retired nurse. Sarah Claunch dedicates her pen to my GP, Gary Mowry. Jenna Clower dedicates her pen to her mom. Lindsay Cook dedicates her pen to her parents. Caroline Crawford dedicates her pen to her grandma. Kathy Daniel dedicates her pen to her parents. Danielle Davis dedicates her pen to her parents. Holly Denton dedicates her pen to her mom. Mallory Doty dedicates her pen to Mr. Watson. Alexis Doyle dedicates her pen to her parents for their continuous support. Elizabeth, or she goes by Reed Edwards. Annie Ellerman dedicates her pen to Will Ellerman. Kylie Ellis dedicates her pen to her parents, Steve and Maureen Ellis. Elizabeth Ingabos dedicates her pen to her sister Lisa. Allison Irby dedicated her pen to Loretta Mounts. Drew Ezel dedicates his pen to his dad. I knew I was going to get that confused. His dad is Brady Ezel. Teresa Ferger dedicates her pen to her family of healthcare workers. Hannah Fink dedicates her pen to her parents. Lauren Garcia dedicates her pen to her father, Joe Garcia. Emily Garlington dedicates her pen to Gay Ann Brown, said like gay. Okay. Olivia Garlington dedicates her pen to Jerry Brown. McKenna Gribble dedicates her pen to her grandmother. Amanda Herman dedicates her pen to her parents. Paxton Herod dedicates her pen to her parents. Thank you. Lindsay Heddish dedicates her pen to her grandmother. Gianna Hogan dedicates to her whole family for their support the last 4 years. Megan Hostetter dedicates to her parents and her sister. Brittany Jones dedicates to Jennifer and Mark Jones, her parents. Paige Kearns dedicates to her parents and grandfather. Madison Knapp dedicates to Maya Muir for always splitting study guides with me. Michaela Koenig. Vivian Kuthes dedicates to April Kuthes, her mom. Abigail Larkin dedicates to her grandparents. Margot Levitt dedicates to her mom. Catherine Lurcher dedicates her pen to her parents, Tom and Margie Lurcher. Cameron LaFawn dedicates her pen to Frances LaFawn. Alexis Llewellyn dedicates to her clinical group. Becca Loretz dedicates to her parents and her best friends, Carrie and Abby. Madeline Lowe dedicates to her mother, Michelle Nance. Ariel Lucky dedicates to the Clarks. Ali Marati dedicates to her hardworking aunts who are both nurses. Benjamin Marples dedicates to his parents. Callie Mettenchak, I dedicate my pen to my grandmother who began nursing in the 1950s. Marissa McDaniel dedicates her pen to Lisa Vasquez, RN, Nini. Abigail McDonald dedicates to her aunt, Jo Lang. Madeline McMakin dedicates her pen to her parents. Corrine Mintz dedicates her pen to Bill and Suzanne Hawkins' grandparents. Mary Claire Meredith dedicates her pen to her parents. Allie Mary Oni She is dedicating her pen to her grandmother, Judy Marioni, a retired nurse. Nicola Moore is dedicating her pen to her mom and dad, Scott and Michelle Moore. Maya Muari is dedicating to Madison Knapp for always splitting study guides with her. Grace Murphy, dedicating her pen to Tony and Cherry Murphy, her parents. Farah Nadari is dedicating her pen to her mom. Madison Noble is dedicating her pen to Morgan Henley, my best friend and inspiration. Olivia Ozier is dedicating her pen to her mom, Lisa Ozier. Nicole Pappas, dedicating her pen to Denise and David Pappas. Evan Peake is dedicating his pen to Gustav R. Haley Pettit is dedicating her pen to Mike and Carrie Pettit. Riley Cornstorm is dedicating her pen to her parents and grandparents. Elise Randalls is dedicating her pen to her grandmother, Alice Moat, a retired nurse. Anna Ray is dedicating her pen to her aunt, Stephanie Robinson. Allison Reeves is dedicating her pen to Libby Wiggins, my fantastic mom and retired ICU nurse. Lindsay Rissinger is dedicating her pen to her grandparents for loving and supporting her every step of the way. Abby Robinette. Renee Rosinski, dedicating her pen to her dad, Dave Rosinski. Yeah. Hunter Rosin is dedicating her pen to Jennifer Hunt Frazier, her mom. Lauren Sawyer, dedicating her pen to anyone who lost somebody during COVID-19. Rachel Schmierman, dedicating my pen to my family of healthcare workers. Talia Seppi is dedicating her pen to her grandmother, Jill Seppi, BSN RN. Max Shaw. Mary Shepard, dedicating her pen to her parents, Mark and Madeline. Ariana Schimmel is dedicating her pen to her parents, Annette and Dan. Annie Smith is dedicating her pen to her parents. Remington Smith is dedicating her pen to her dad, Terry Smith, firefighter, paramedic, my biggest cheerleader and favorite FaceTime when I'm stressing out about an exam. Jonathan Scott. Kelsey Steed is dedicating her pen to her grandparents. Georgia Stevens is dedicating her pen to her parents, Anita and Kevin, and her uncle, Kaylin. Sydney Summers dedicating her pen to Dara Summers, her mom. Erica Tempesta, dedicating her pen to Erica Garner Snipes, late daughter of the late Eric Garner. She died of cardiac arrest at age 27. Carly Torres. Ellie Towns. Haley Tremmel is dedicating her pen to her grandmother, Carol Tremmel. Veronica Vandermolen is dedicating her pen to Dr. Christian J. Henderson, her mentor. Cameron Watson is dedicating her pen to her late grandmother, Vondra Imhoff. Jessica Wise is dedicating her pen to Daniel and Deidre Wise. Bridget Wells is dedicating her pen to her husband, Henley. Mary Wendell is dedicating, she goes by Mary Kate Wendell. She's dedicating her pen to her parents, Paul and Kathy Wendell. James Wheeler. Kristen Whitnow, dedicating her pen to her mom and dad and her fiancé, Austin. Jasmine Yackel is dedicating her pen to her parents, Steve and Tammy. Emma Zobal, dedicating her pen to her grandmother, Edna Pitts. We will now have Dr. Franks read, along with the students, the spirit of the Nightingale Pledge. Students, it's in your program. I hope you can still read your program.
If there are any nurses in the audience, we would please like you to stand and read the pledge with us. Okay, so students, you stand as well. I solemnly pledge in the presence of this assembly to live my life with integrity and to practice my profession faithfully. I will uphold the ethical and scientific and legal standards of my profession and devote myself to the welfare of those committed to my care. I will collaborate with patients, families, and healthcare providers to conserve life, alleviate suffering, and promote health. I will refrain from any action which might be harmful to the quality of life or health for whom I care. I will respect at all times the dignity and beliefs of patients, families, and communities under my care, and hold in professional confidence all the personal information entrusted to me. I will endeavor to keep my professional knowledge and skills at the highest level and keep my support and cooperation to all members of the healthcare team. With full knowledge of my qualifications and responsibilities, I will do my utmost to support the potential of professional and to uphold and advance its standards. Thank you. You may be seated.
Okay, we're almost done. So for the graduates, I would like to give them a final challenge. You are now joining the ranks of 3.3 million registered nurses in the United States, the largest segment of the healthcare workforce. Eleanor Mann graduates, what will you do to make a difference, to transform lives and inspire leadership in nursing practice and academics, to improve health and well-being for patients, families, and communities? I know that you feel that you have missed some opportunities throughout this past year to learn new skills. But what you have learned is much more important. Patience, flexibility, compassion. Recently, a news reporter went into an intensive care unit looking to write an exciting story, something like Grey's Anatomy. Here's what he did write. What I found most impressive was not the ventilators, the CT scanners, or the high-tech wizardry. It was the compassion and the courage of the healthcare workers, and the intervention that struck me the most was the hand-holding. That's what you have learned. And you have learned to be leaders. The coronavirus has presented challenges unlike any other in our time. We have seen our colleagues coping with extraordinary personal and professional challenges, and yet continue to hold someone's hand. You will use your leadership skills to better support our capacity to respond to future emergency situations and increase the resilience of our health system that has been made vulnerable through this crisis. If there is a person that is fortunate enough to never encounter adversity, we will never know how resilient that person is. That does not apply to you. Your determination to succeed during a global pandemic is a testament to your resilience. Couple that with the fact that you've sat here in the pouring rain for your final Eleanor Mann rite of passage. I know each of you are going to go out and make a huge difference, and we are all going to be cheering you all along the way. Thank you all for being here and sticking through the rain.